Tide B.
Even then, man, that's taking some electricity to run, unless you're running it off a phonograph machine.
We've got a point.
Now I have somebody.
And they crank it. Hand crank.
Somebody in my family, Sebastien.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to say who.
All right.
But I think it's clear that I do not believe in this electromagnetic hypersensitivity.
Oh, I don't either. I'm assuming it's a psychological disorder and not a physical problem where the electricity, you're allergic to electricity or anything like that.
And I'm not a doctor, but I say it's an illness, but it is a mental illness.
Mm-hmm.
And because how can you just decide one day you're allergic to this and then start feeling the repercussions of it?
You can develop allergies at any point in your life.
You can, but this is not something you can be allergic to. You can't be allergic to it. Now, I think there have been studies about it where like some people are trying to push it to say like, oh, it is harmful.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe I'll be eating my words in a few years from now when people's kids' faces are melting off because they live too close to power lines. But until that day, I'm on the side of this is a made up thing.
Do you think it's? Okay, this is where I'm at. I think people want it. Certain people want it to be a real thing, kind of like how there are people who, I'm allergic to gluten, but they're not. They're not gluten intolerant or anything. Like there are people who have celiac disease, which is a real gluten intolerance. Some people just don't want to eat any bread because they'll get fat. I can't eat gluten. You don't want to. You don't feel like it because you're a fatty or something. I don't know what it is. Get over yourself. There's some people at the same time who I guess they're freaked out by microwave ovens.
Oh.
And so I'm allergic. Maybe this is very insensitive to people with diseases, mental or otherwise, but maybe I'm misinformed. But this is my impression.
Yeah. Now, I think it's easy to be against it and not very informed, but just informed in how I've been living my life up until now, where this has never been a problem until recently. Now, this person in my family has, since within the last couple of years, decided that this is the cause of all their ailments, and is has their husband had to rewire the entire house, rip all the wires out of the walls to run it in the ceilings. It's crazy. This is thousands of dollars worth of work.
And Medicare's not covering that.
No. And taking their kid out of school because it's like, I'm going to homeschool this kid because I can't vouch for all of the electromagnetic waves coming around out there. So keep him inside where it's safe.
Well, hold on. Have they decided that he's also allergic to?
Oh yes, he is. He is deathly allergic to it because she says so. And if he starts getting active,
well, hold on. Was he like having headaches and stuff, and they decided?
No.
So I remember I used to get headaches and stuff as a kid. Turned out I needed eyeglasses.
This is more of a case, and I'm sure there's a name for it, but it would be, when you tell your kid they have a headache, and then they say, "No, I don't. I'm fine." It's like, "No, you have a headache," and it's like, "No, I don't have a headache. I'm fine." And then you say, "You're acting up. You're getting all flustered. Something's wrong with you. You need to go and lie down because clearly your head is not in the right state. You have the headache. You're sick. You're getting all worked up. Something's wrong with you. Go lie down." And then the kid's like, "Well, no, she's right, but because
parents know stuff.
But it's because I'm so angry that she's saying I have this and I don't." And eventually you start to believe it. Now this whole situation, it frustrates me to no end when I go over. That's why I can't go over very often. They have to ground themselves before they come in.
What the hell does that mean?
Which is like, I guess, touching a piece of metal to get rid of any electricity that may have accumulated.
Like static electricity, you shuffled over on a rug.
I think even that's a thing. Yeah. Now I'm out there. I'm looking for a gift because it's this kid's birthday.
Okay.
Now, what can you get somebody with this?
Some wood blocks.
Well, it would seem,
clap those together.
And it's hard to find wood blocks in Toys R Us that are not for 3-year-olds. So I'm looking. It's like, oh,
how old is the kid?
8.
Man,
it's like I'm looking for remote
prime
control.
Video game time.
Yeah, it's like I know he has tons of remote control cars. I'm going to get a little remote control boat. Call that. Can't get that because can't have it. It's like, wait, I know there's tons of remote control cars that he has. And he's like, well, we have to take all the batteries out. It's like,
So are batteries bad?
the batteries aren't bad. It's the radio waves from the controller to the car. And I'm like, so what is he doing? He just has a bunch of really expensive model cars that just sit there. And I was like, yeah, basically. And I was like, oh my God. Well,
That's crazy. You're not going to buy an expensive model boat to just float around in a pool.
Yeah. So eventually I'm like, well, this kid can just have money. And he can figure it out himself, because this seems like a problem I can't solve because it's too embedded.
I don't want to give an 8-year-old kid cash, though.
Well, an 8-year-old kid loves cash.
Well, sure. Well, not really. Yes and no.
The prospect of what that can get you.
I guess, but like the prospect of what can get you is pretty limited when you can't get any electronics. What do you get? To get some Beanie Babies?
Yeah, that's true. I don't know, but it's just a never-ending battle where I'm trying to steer the conversation away from all of this hubbub. Mm-hmm. Where you can say something as innocent as like, oh, I see you've gotten a new table here, new dining room table. You think that's not going to lead to anything, but no, it does, because it's like, well, the old one had metal lining the edge. Metal is a very good conduit. You got to be kidding
me. There's got to wait. What are they eating with wooden forks?
No, they're eating with metal. But it's still, it's just like it doesn't become a problem until they know. It's like you can have a cell phone on, but when they find out that cell phone's on, it's like now the left side of my face is getting tingly. I'm having like stomach pains. My eyes are melting.
My eyes are melting.
So I can go on and on about this, and I don't know where I would stop, because I have stories that continue. We can even have a whole section about the thing that frustrates me this week. But the thing this week,
all right, that
is kind of horrifying.
Sure.
Now it's this kid's birthday.
But there's like radio waves flying through the sky all the time, because people listen to the radio, and there are broadcasts of television, HD television, AM, FM radio. They're all flying through the air all the time. Unless you like put lead shielding on the outside of your home,
not going to change it.
You're not safe from radio waves.
No,
and radio waves are fine.
They are fine.
They just shoot through you, and you don't even know.
Yeah. Now, you think of this however you will. Now, it's his kid's birthday.
Mm-hmm.
It was coming up. Now, in the bathroom, I noticed a sign saying, do not open until Monday.
What aren't you opening?
It was a sign on a cabinet door.
Don't open the cabinet door until Monday?
Do not open until Monday. It had the kid's name on it.
Oh, okay. So his birthday gift was in there?
Well, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
So, you ask her, you ask Kim, you're like, what's in here? And he's like, that's when I get my big E.
His big E?
It's big E.
I don't like where this is going. What does this mean?
I'm like, what is a big E? I don't know. I'm trying to figure this out. Like, what's a big E?
Was it a big E or a biggie?
A big
letter E.
And then E.
All right.
It's like, okay, I got to figure out what this is, because he doesn't know. And I go ask, the mother. It's like, so the kid says he's getting his big E on Monday. Is this like a gift for him? And he's like,
he does a ton of ecstasy every Monday.
Oh, I think that would be better. But no.
So he doesn't need electricity for his computers that day. For his remote control cars, rather.
I think this is even more shocking. This 8-year-old, on Monday, his big E is his enema.
No.
Yeah, he is getting, this 8-year-old is getting an enema from his mother. And this is something they have a cute little name for. It's my big E.
So hold on.
And this has to do with...
I've never had an enema.
Yeah.
But if I'm not mistaken, you're blowing a bunch of salt water up your butt to wash your butthole out?
Is that what it is? I thought it was like a pill. Isn't it like a suppository, but like a little worse?
I think we might have to look this up.
I think we might have to.
We'll be right back. So we're back.
Yeah.
We just found out what an enema is, and I feel like you shouldn't be so concerned. It seems like it's rinsing out your butthole with some fluids, so that or your lower rectum, so that you can have better bowel movements.
But should your mother be administering you a enema at that age?
Are you going to do it yourself?
No, but do you need one at that age? Like, can't you go to a doctor? I don't know. It just seems... this is because
Yes,
of...
yes, because I can assume that from what we read, that perhaps the boy has constipation issues. And there is a special jam that you can have that will help loosen your stool.
What is this jam?
It's like a special medicated jam. It's like a laxative jam.
Yeah.
So you'd like the kid can eat some toast with jam on it.
Well, that seems like a better
I
idea.
don't need to get into why I know this.
No. Some enema jams.
Enema jam. That would be filling your lower rectum with jam.
What's your upper rectum?
It's way up in there.
Oh, okay.
It's where the poop is before you got to poop.
I see. Okay, I'm getting a picture here. Now, the only thing I ever had to base an enema on was the cover of the Blink-182 album, Enema of the State, where it's this good, attractive nurse pulling on a really tight blue medical glove.
All right.
So I thought, I was like, there's some goings on that I don't want to know about. And so I always kind of just assume the worst. But don't make it into a fun thing. Don't say that's the day I get my big E.
Yeah, that is weird.
Don't have him go to school and be like, I'm getting my big E on Monday.
You think was he excited about it?
He wasn't worried about it. It was a very normal thing. And I think...
So that's not that bad then.
But this has to do... I know it has to do...
This has nothing to do with electro radio waves.
Only it does a little. Because when you're trying to convince a kid he's sick off something he doesn't have, where does that end? You're telling him he needs enemas, daily enemas. I'm pushing it forward now. I'm talking this kid's getting daily enemas. This is all speculation. And when does that stop?
I'm going to argue with you on this one, Matthew. I think the kid probably has a constipation issue, and maybe they give him an enema once a week or something. And this has nothing to do with other paranoid things.
Well, it's a madhouse, I tell you, and I can't handle too much of it.
Do they have internet in this house?
We have internet. The internet is abundant.
It's abundant.
Well,
they're never going to run out of internet. So they hardwire plug into the internet.
No, it's Wi-Fi, but the computer.
But Wi-Fi is radio waves.
Yes. Now the computer though can be plugged in, charged in a separate room, and then once it's charged, it has to be unplugged, and you can use the battery. But you're still using Wi-Fi.
You're also still using electricity. Whether you plug it in or it's coming out of a battery, electricity is still moving around in there.
You can't pick and choose what electricity you're allergic to.
Well, I mean, I guess you kind of can because it's kind of a made up. Well, okay, maybe it's not made up. I still don't know, but if it is a made up disease, you can totally pick and choose.
I will eat my words if this turns out, Surgeon General starts announcing, this is real. But right now, the only thing real about it is it's a mental illness.
Yeah, I think we can assume that much.
So, I don't want to.
Use radio waves though.
Everything,
like,
everything. There's just waves everywhere. I could go on for. I
feel like maybe the best way to treat this would be to like convince someone that what they know about radio waves just isn't true. That like, oh no, they've actually changed radio waves recently. They're pretty safe now, and just flip their whole world upside down. Let them know that the radio waves that broadcast TV and radio signals and that they can't stop from entering their house all this time are really dangerous, turns out, but Wi-Fi signals aren't. Just flip-flop it all on them just so that they realize how wrong they are.
Okay.
Maybe this is not the best way to treat a mental disease, by like just fucking with them.
Well, I think it's like, you try and tell a kid this medicine is actually just like really fun Gatorade, and you're going to love it, and it's going to make you strong. And then they're like, oh, okay. Like we just change their mind about something by using,
lies.
Yeah, by using lies. Only this time it's the truth.
That is.
But you were lying to them.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Because you know that it's the only way they're going to believe it. But I don't know. I can go on for far too long about this. But basically, I don't think you've ever watched this Better Call Saul
I have.
show.
You have, yeah.
Now his brother.
Yeah.
The stuff you see his brother do. It is all real. Like, think of the craziest thing. You've